Sir, Sriram sir, good morning sir.
Very good morning, sir.
Yeah, yes sir. Sir, we'll start within 5 minutes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sir, shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, okay. Sir, Kannada, sir?
Sir, start, sir.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, good morning, one and all person here. So it's my honor and privilege to welcome you all for this webinar on creativity and innovation, organized by Innovation Club and the Department of Biotechnology. On behalf of Rathinam Group of Institution, I welcome our today's chief guest, Dr. K.V. Sriram, Associate Professor, Department of Humanities and Management, Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal. Welcome you, sir. And I heartily welcome our beloved Secretary and CEO, Dr. R. Manikam, sir. Welcome you, sir. And I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our beloved Principal, Dr. R. Muralidharan, for encouraging and supporting us to conduct this program. Welcome you, sir. And I would like to welcome our Dean, School of Science, Dr. S. N. Suresh, and Dean of Research, Dr. K.P. V. Sabari, sir. Welcome you, sir. And I heartily welcome our convener of the program, Dr. C. Kanagaraj, sir, IAC convener and HOD of Biotechnology. Welcome you, sir. And I extend my heartily welcome to all the innovation ambassadors, faculty members, and the students who are very much excited to attend this program. Once again, I welcome you all and thank you. Now, I like to invite Ms. Mauna Priya ma'am, from Assistant Professor from Department of Biotechnology, to give some introduction about today's chief guest.
Very good morning to all. I'm extremely honored and privileged to have given this opportunity to address Dr. K.V. Sriram sir for this webinar. He's an astute academician, a marketing professional with over 20 years of accomplished career track in this industry. And currently he's serving as an associate professor at the Department of Humanities and Management at Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal. And he's an proactive leader, inspiring teacher, counselor, trainer, and speaker with expertise in financial management, entrepreneurship, marketing management, engineering, economics, to name a few things. And an effective communicator with exceptional relationship management skills with the ability to relate to people at any level of business and management. And has more than 25 publications in Scopus Index journals and funded with a project from Department of Science and Technology along with National Science and Technology Management Information System. At present, he is guiding about 5 PhD students in the area of finance, waste management, and service marketing. He is also a subject matter expert for PhD students registered under Manipal Academy of Higher Education. And he is an NISP coordinator at MIT Manipal and also take part of an innovation ecosystem at MAHA. And he serves the student body called ESEL at MIT Manipal as a faculty advisor. Prior to his current role, he also has served as a DGM as a marketing in Suguna Foods, a leader in poultry industry, and AGM marketing in Chennai Silks, a retail giant, an engineer by qualification. He has a PhD in marketing from Paradise University, Coimbatore. And now, today he is here to address on creativity and innovation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir.
Sir, dice is yours, sir.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen.
Okay, sir. Yeah, sir, it is visible, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Let me thank the Rathinam group of institutions first for giving me the opportunity to address the students and faculty at your college. In fact, it's a privilege to talk to you all in this particular topic because it's a topic of interest to me, and I've been working in this area for quite some time now. So it's a very interesting one. And being myself from Coimbatore, I would like to talk to my own group of people, and that's why when Dr. Kanagaraj approached me, I immediately accepted it because I always like to talk to people from my own area. And looking forward to a good interaction with you people. I am sure we'll have a good session for 1 hour. And this is a very interesting topic because I think this is something which is quite different from what you have been learning in the college and your regular subjects. Creativity and innovation. And this is the buzzword today, whichever area you take, whichever topic you take, people talk about creativity and innovation. And a lot of trust is being given from the government, your college, your institutions on innovations related matters, and also a lot of trust is being given on startups and an ecosystem which actually demands students to be job creators than job seekers. In fact, lot of provisions are there nowadays, and the government also spends a lot of money with respect to this startup creations, and the entire ecosystem is quite vibrant these days. And I am sure in the coming days we could see a lot of very creative and innovative startups coming in, and more students will actually come up with quite innovative ideas, which will actually be one of the turning points in our economy also. With that brief intro, let me go into this particular topic called creativity and innovation. Now, when we talk about creativity and innovation, the definition of this is quite simple, right? We have been hearing about this particular words quite often, and when we say creativity, creativity is the ability to transcend the traditional ways of thinking or acting and to develop new and original ideas, even methods or objects for that matter. This is a definition which I came across by Kelly Moore, and it's quite interesting compared to all the other definitions. So it is an ability to transcend the traditional ways. So I am breaking the conventional ways and I am going to think something new so that I can develop something which is original. So that is called as creativity. And innovation is quite similar. I am not doing any invention here, but innovation is actually doing something new to the existing product or service. So if at all there is an existing invention that's there, and if I am going to do something different in that and come out with something new, then probably I will call this as an innovation, and it should be having some commercial value if you are going to claim this as a great innovation. So innovation and creativity go hand in hand, and if you all have to be a successful entrepreneur, then obviously you need to have this kind of creativity and innovation built in you. Now, the next question comes when I say this is, how can I be creative? Now, it's a very difficult question because many of us think that creativity is something which is actually, people get it by birth, or it is, in the gene or something like that. So, born creative, people who actually, why we are saying this is because we have seen people in the areas of arts and other subjects wherein these people are quite unique compared to the normal people. So we think that creativity is something which is by birth, and these people have imbibed it maybe through the genetic things from their forefathers, and that's how they remain creative. But unfortunately, it is not true. In fact, I will say, creativity is something which actually can be developed in an individual. So that is something which we should be happy about, because I don't have to worry if I am not creative till now. Now I have an opportunity to become creative because it can be developed at any point of time. So that's good news, because anybody can become creative now, right? So when I become creative, I tend to be innovative and I tend to create something new which can be useful to the society. And ultimately, whatever I create should be useful to the society, because I'm trying to solve a problem related to the society. So that's how successful startups are created in this system. So creativity is something which can be developed by human beings, just like developing a muscle, right? To develop a muscle, what we do? We go to a gym, we do exercise, we work out, and then we actually build up this muscle. Similarly, creativity can be developed through some exercises. So creativity can be taught. So it is a subject which can be taught to the students so that they tend to be more creative in whatever they do. In fact, I can give an example here. At our institute, Manipal Institute of Technology, we have introduced a subject called creativity, problem solving, and innovation for all the students of the first year. That is, engineering students who join in the first year will undergo this particular subject for 2 semesters. So we thought that this particular subject will help them to be different from others, and it will help them to be more creative by different ways. We are teaching them so many techniques, we are teaching them so many exercises which they can follow so that they can become creative in their own subjects. So I am not saying creative in the sense, do not relate creativity only to the art subjects, because normally when we say creativity, we say that creative in the field of, say, movies, or no, somebody who's creative in the field of music, or creative in the in the story writing or something like that. But creativity can be in any area, right? If you are a biotech student, probably you could be creative in your own area. You can develop something which could be new, which could be creative, which can actually solve a problem. And being biotechnology students, I think this is something which is quite prevalent in your area, because it involves a lot of research and new things which are being coming out every now and then. So creativity is subject which can be taught, which can be learned. So it can be developed as you develop your muscles, so you can work out. Similarly, here there are a lot of avenues to develop creativity, a lot of exercises. I am going to introduce some of them today in my lecture, but there are quite a few. I will give you some references also which you can go through. So you will get a lot of ideas about how you can develop creativity in you. Now, why I'm saying this, why I'm insisting is, you will see a lot of difference when you follow this. I have been seeing this difference because I have been teaching subjects like financial management, I have been teaching subjects like marketing management, general management subjects, etc. But after I started teaching this particular subject on creativity, actually I could improve my teaching skills in the other subjects also. I could introduce so many things which are quite innovative in teaching, and I started asking questions myself, which actually made me a little more creative than what I used to be. So it helps you in many ways, and it can actually help you in your subjects also. So being a student, you can actually become more creative by asking questions, and being a teacher, you can explore more things by being more creative. So anyway, it is going to help you, and it's going to help you to be a different person altogether. So that's why I insist people that they should actually explore this particular area so that they can be quite creative. Now, the creativity factor, the problem here is, are we losing creativity as we mature? Now, this is something which we have to actually think and find out. If you look at a small kid or a child, you will find that child to be more creative than many of us, isn't it? You give a paper to this child, the child will come out with so many things in that paper. You give a clay, the child will actually make things which are quite different from what we actually tend to do. So the kids are more creative compared to many mature people like what we are, because we have been actually groomed in such a way that at one point of time we are totally closed to everything, and we stop being creative. But when you look at a child, when you look at a kid, normally these children are quite creative. That's why they explore things. Now, what is the basic difference? Why these kids are quite creative, and why people like us tend to be not creative at all? Can anyone respond to this? Anybody? Like why these kids are quite creative? It's quite obvious when you look at a kid, right? Kid will like to explore anything. But when we are adult, normally we tend to be quite closed about everything. So why is this happening? What is the difference? Can anybody just contribute to this? What is the fundamental difference you see? Anybody who is there in the meeting can just contribute. Do not worry about the right or wrong answers here. We are just trying to make it more two-way than a monologue. That's it. I could see it's around 39 participants here. So Yeah.
Yes, sir. What they imagine, they deliver on the spot, sir. That's the kids.
Okay. So imagine they deliver it. Yeah. Somebody raised a hand here. Yeah.
Sir, because they are very clean slate. They don't prefix anything. They
Ah.
start from nothing.
Okay. So they start from nothing. They are very clean. They don't have any preoccupied things
Yes.
in the mind. Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It is
Anybody
new.
else?
It is new for them.
Good. 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 Anyone else? Anyone else wants to contribute a different idea? Come on, be creative here and feel free. Okay. I am one among yourselves, so please do contribute liberally to whatever I ask. Can I tell you one fundamental difference why these kids are more creative than us? I think you can relate it immediately. These kids are not afraid of trying out new things. Have you seen that? But when we become adult, we are actually scared of many things. We tend to close ourselves because we are having a feeling that if I do something wrong, people around me will judge me, isn't it? People around me will think bad about me. But kid is not worried about it. Kid will just do what it wants to do. But we actually keep ourselves closed because we are worried about what others will think about us. அப்படிதானே நம்ம most of the time if you look at whatever decisions we take, நம்ம நம்ம சுத்தி இருக்கிற ஆளுங்க என்ன நினைப்பாங்க அப்படிங்கறனால தான் we are taking some very very cautious decision. But இதே குழந்தைகள் வந்து normally they take decisions which are actually they want to do, like they do something which they want to do without any inhibition, without any control. Like that is why these people are more creative. Kids tend to be more creative. ஒரு puddle of water, இப்போ ரோட்ல நடந்து போயிட்டு இருக்கும்போது ஒரு puddle of water இருக்கு, நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், ரொம்ப பத்திரமா அப்படியே சுத்தி காலில் அப்படியே பராம அப்படியே வருவோம். பட் இதே ஒரு குழந்தை பார்த்தீங்கன்னா என்ன பண்ணும், they will just jump into that puddle of water and play happily because they are like they want to do what they want to do. But நம்ம வந்து over a period of time we tend to close ourselves and then we stop being creative. அதனால தான் நம்ம பார்த்துருக்கீங்கன்னா காலேஜில் I am not sure about Rathinam college. Okay, I should ask your HOD. How many students ask questions in the class? How many students really ask questions in the class?
Only 30%, sir.
Pardon?
Only 30% of students.
30%, that's a good number. In fact, I think Rathinam is doing very well with respect to that. But I have seen many of the students not even responding when I ask some questions because you tend to close yourself. No, you're not, you assume things, okay, it's going to be that way. But when you ask questions, automatically your mind opens up and then you become more creative. In fact, the key to being creative is to ask questions. You take it from me. Ask any question, doesn't matter. Okay. Don't think that somebody is going to laugh at your question. That's again one inhibition which as a student you have. You think that somebody is going to laugh if I'm going to ask some absurd question. Absolutely not. In fact, asking absurd questions will help you to become more creative because you tend to develop new ideas that way. So learn to ask questions first. When you start asking questions, you will find the subject more interesting. Ultimately, you will develop something quite new. So that's why I keep insisting that, yeah, creativity is something which we have lost as we mature. Now, in fact, I can prove it by actually quoting a research which has been done in US. It's a longitudinal study, which means that they have done this study over the period of 17 years from as a kid to a matured person. So they administered the same test to this group for around 17 years. And they found that surprisingly at the age of 5 years, 92% were creative. By the age of 10, this actually reduced to 37%. And when they reached the college, only 2% were creative. Now you can understand why we actually become like this. So as a child, 92% were creative. But then when we actually become mature, only 2% are creative. So the entire creativity has been lost as we grow. So this is a big problem. So how do we keep this creativity in us without losing it? That's something which actually we should think about. And there are some myths about creativity which have to be busted. Okay, these myths have to be busted if at all we have to be creative, because we think that these myths are actually correct, and we cannot do anything about it. Now, creativity is a new discovery or an innovation. Now, this is a myth. Creativity is not about new discovery. It is not about any invention. In fact, most of the creative people around you who we have seen actually have created something from what already is existing. Nothing new has been done. No invention has been made. But they are quite creative because they use the existing things around them and they created something which is different. So creativity is not about discovery or invention. So keep that myth away from you. Eureka moment happens as a flash. This is something again which we have seen in movies. We have seen some of the so-called creative people giving interviews in which they say that, no, I go sit in a quiet place like Ooty when I write something and suddenly idea comes to me, so I write it down. So we think that creative people needs that kind of an environment so that they will become suddenly creative and they will get that eureka moment, right? That flashpoint. It is not so. It doesn't happen that way. It is a systematic process which happens in your brain. So there is nothing like a eureka moment that's going to happen as a flash. So please consider this as a myth again. And only for the top people this comes. Creativity is meant for top people, not meant for others. Absolutely not. In fact, there are so many examples. People can be creative in whichever area they do, right from a very normal job they do. In fact, if you have a sweeper in your college, I think even she can be creative, if at all it required. It's only required that initiative from their side to be more creative. Great ideas come when I am alone. This is again which I pointed out. It is not so. In fact, most of the ideas what people have got come in crowded places like a coffee shop. When people discuss the ideas with others, that is why you get new ideas. There is nothing like a myth which says that I am getting ideas when I am alone. No, it is not so. Need lot of money, again a myth. In fact, most of the great startups have been created with nothing. I don't need to be creative. This is something which we actually take it upon ourselves. Like we think that we don't have to be creative. In fact, we need to be creative because it helps us in our way. It helps us in our education. It helps us in our future. It helps us in all walks of life. So you need to be creative. Creativity cannot be developed. Again, a big myth. Creativity can be developed. Creativity can be built like muscles. So you can actually teach and learn creativity. Now, I can give a wonderful visual representation what you see on the screen. It is from Strategies for Creative Problem Solving by Scott Fogler. It talks about creativity and knowledge like a scissor. In fact, it is like a scissor. In order to cut through the maze of obstacles, blocking the pathway to solving a problem, we need skills analogous to the pair of scissors with two special knives. So consider a special pair of scissors with two knives. One is knowledge, one is creativity. So in order to solve a problem, you need both of this. You need the creativity in you, you need the knowledge, so that you can use this as a scissor and then cut across to solve a problem around you. So I think as a student, you need to consider this both, because knowledge is being imparted by the educational system. Creativity is something which you can develop yourself. With these two, I am sure you can be quite successful in developing something new. Creativity is inspired by nature. I think if you look at the nature around, you will see most of the creative things are developed from this nature only. Here again, there is an example from the enterprise concepts and issues. You can look at the nature's creation and the comparative human creation here. For example, poison or venoms, snake venoms, poisons, etc. You know that they are used as medicine, right? So anesthetics, and in different areas, they are used as medicines. The leaf, the normal leaf which we see is something which actually gave the idea for a solar panel. The brain, human brain, is the fundamental for your computer science, electronic circuitry, etc. The DNA is about the computer program. The eardrum, microphone, eye is about the camera. Eyelid is an example which actually made people think about a windshield wiper. and the tears is a viper fluid, the incisor teeth is a knife. In fact, your heart can be taught about like a pump, spinal cord or the nervous system is the communication or telephone cable, and the songbirds is actually the fundamental thing that inspired to create something called as a music. So most of the human creation around you, if you look at any human creation, the fundamental idea has been taken from the nature around you. So that's how people have developed something. So there are ideas around you. There is so many things the nature has given you. The only thing is we have to be a bit more creative to actually adapt the human nature's creation to a human creation so that we can think of something quite new and which can actually solve a problem. In fact, whatever we are going to create should solve a problem around you. And there are plenty of problem around us, isn't it? We cannot say that I don't have any problem. In fact, if you look at the society around, you will see lots and lots of problems. And if you are going to solve a problem effectively using one of the techniques, then you are quite successful in your area. I can actually give an examples of this, because most of the time what happens is identifying the problem itself is a problem. So we don't identify what exactly is the real problem. I have listed out some examples here. One is a story of the bear and the professor. Okay, I am sure some of you would have heard about this story somewhere or the other. So this professor and his student, the student and the professor actually go into a forest for some reason, some expedition. They go, and inside the forest, suddenly they come across a bear. Now this bear is something which is very hungry, and it starts moving towards both of them, and it's planning to attack and eat. So both of them start actually running. The professor and the student start running, seeing the bear. At one point of time, the student actually stops. The student actually stops and starts wearing his sports shoes. He takes the pair of shoes from his bag and he starts wearing it. So the professor, looking at the student, is asking, "No, why are you doing it? Why are you even bothered to do it?" So the student says that I don't have to run faster than the bear to get away. I have to run faster than you. That's it. So that's a wonderful answer, right? What is the real problem? The real problem is not about running faster than the bear. The student is not putting the sports shoes to run faster than the bear, but the student thinks that if he's going to run faster than the professor, then the bear is going to eat the professor, not him. So obviously the bear is going to be satisfied with one human being, and definitely it's not going to kill the other one. So his interest is to run faster than the professor. So what exactly was the problem? The problem was running faster than the other person, not actually running faster than the bear. Identify the real problem. Similarly, I give this example of mosquito repellent. In fact, in India, the mosquito repellent market is a huge market. I don't know how many of you know this. If you look at this repellent, mosquito repellent, it comes in different forms and these things. And I'm sure in a place like Coimbatore, we have a lot of mosquitoes. And this repellent is a huge market. I think the market should be around 5 to 6,000 crores in India. Now, this kind of a mosquito repellent problem, it's for the business, it's really good because the companies which manufacture this mosquito repellent are making a lot of money. But the real problem is not about repelling a mosquito, right? The real problem is actually ensuring that there is no mosquito. We are not thinking about it at all. We are not creating an environment in which there won't be any mosquitoes, but instead we are trying to repel the mosquitoes. So mosquitoes keep coming and we keep actually marketing the repellents so that we keep making more and more money. So the companies keep more, nobody even thought about why there should be even a mosquito. So what is something which we can do so that there are no mosquitoes around us? So that's the real problem. Is not about the repellent. The real problem is about the breeding of mosquitoes. Similarly, an elevator problem. Okay, so there was a hotel in which there was an elevator, and they increased the number of floors in the elevator. So the elevator was moving very slowly. So for reaching from the ground floor to the 15th floor, the elevator took a lot of time. So people actually were getting really problematic using this elevator. So the company, what the hotel said was, they spent a lot of money in the consultancy services so that they will come out with some solutions to make the elevator more faster. But ultimately, somebody came with a very simple solution. What they did was they installed mirrors inside the elevator. Now, what happened when you install a mirror? People who get into the elevator normally look at the mirror and they look at themselves and try to groom themselves there. So they don't mind waiting for a few minutes inside the elevator than before. So actually, instead of spending a lot of money in the technology for increasing the speed of the elevator, a simple mirror inside the elevator solves the problem. So this is how you can actually identify the real problem. The real problem is not about the speed of the elevator, but the real problem is how to make people wait for some more time without getting bored inside the elevator. So if you look at the problem differently, most of the time you will get a solution that is more creative. So that's why I keep telling, identify the real problem. So if you identify the real problem, obviously the solution will be more interesting. That's why Peter Drucker, who's a management guru, he said this: the most serious mistakes are not being made as a result of wrong answers. The true dangerous thing is asking the wrong question. Most of the time we ask the wrong question. That is very dangerous than the result of the wrong answers. In fact, there is one more example in a book called Zigzag by Keith Sawyer. Zigzag is a very interesting book. You can get and copy online. It's by Keith Sawyer. It's called a mice problem. So there was a problem in which they are trying to solve. How can I build a better mouse trap? Now this is the question. It's quite similar to actually what I spoke about the mosquito here. How can I build a better mouse trap? This was the question. And there were many solutions to this. Many questions being asked on how to build a better mouse trap. So there are questions like, how do I get the mice out of my house? How do I catch the mice? Why are the mice inside my house in the first place? How do they get in? What is the best way to kill a mouse? So when you start asking questions like this, when you start asking different questions, ultimately what you will come out with is, instead of designing a better mousetrap, you will come out with a solution to keep the mouse away from the house, right? So these questions will lead to a better definition of the problem. So your initial problem of designing a better mouse trap actually gets changed to actually keeping the mouse away from the house. So my problems get changed because I keep asking questions. So asking the right questions helps you to redefine your problem in a better way. Debugging is one more thing which actually can boost your creativity. What you do is, debugging is nothing by subtracting things from your existing product. Look at your room, look at your house, take any product from your house, your daily life, and start debugging it. Like find out what exactly is problematic in that particular product and try to debug it. So once you start doing it, probably you will end up with something which is quite new, which actually could solve a problem. For example, take a refrigerator and see what exactly is the problem you are facing in the refrigerator around you, and try to debug that particular problem. So you will come out with a solution which actually could be a problem solver for the entire refrigerator industry. Similarly, take the product around you and start debugging it. It's very similar to the debugging which we talk in the software terminology. So trying to fix up the problem. So see the product around you, try to fix up the problems, and then see how you can create something new out of it. Now, we have been talking about creativity and innovation for a long time. So I want you people to actually do this small exercise for me. A simple exercise will illustrate what we mean. The following combination of letters represent the sentence from which one particular vowel has been removed. Okay. If you can figure out what the vowel is and reinsert it 11 times in 11 different places, you will be able to determine what the sentence is saying. Now, it's a sentence out there and there is a vowel which is been removed. You have to put that vowel and you will get a meaningful sentence. Very simple. You don't have to look anywhere for an answer. You have to just tell me what is the vowel. Anyone, just come out with a quick answer here. It's a very simple one. You have to tell me what is that particular vowel there. I'm sure you would have got the answer by now. Dr. Kanagaraj says E. Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Anyone? Any different answer? Come on, students. We have students here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Come on, students. Somebody contribute. Very simple one. I have asked a very simple question. Okay. Fine. So I will probably, not wait for the answer. Now, the first answer that comes to your mind is E. Why it comes to our mind is we normally think that when we put E, we get very, right? And next we go, we put he there, we get fine. So very fine. So we immediately think E is the vowel which actually has to be put in. Am I right? But after very fine, I don't think you will be proceeding further because you will be stuck there.
Yes, sir.
Right? So if you look at the answer, it's quite surprising. This is the sentence which you will get. Every fine exemplar exceeds what we expect. This is the answer. E is the word, no doubt. But where to put the E was the answer to this particular question. So E before we actually and after we would have given you every. Similarly, every fine. Again, a E before X gives a different word altogether. Similarly, if you are going to put this E in different places, the sentence what you get out of these words is every fine exemplar exceeds what we accept. Correct? So this is an example of how your thinking process can be quite different rather than the traditional conventional one. So when you solve such puzzles in your real life, it makes you more creative. In fact, it makes your life more interesting, and it actually keeps your brain quite busy and comes out with very innovative solutions in whatever you do. So that way it helps you a lot. So keep solving puzzles like this. It makes you more creative. There is no doubt that creativity is the most important human resource of all. Without creativity, there would be no progress and we would be forever repeating the same patterns. It is by Edward de Bono. Edward de Bono is a theorist of creativity. He noted that the process of creativity does not just happen in a flash of inspiration. Individuals, entrepreneurs, teams, and businesses don't just sit waiting for the light bulb moment. Instead, he argues that they approach their problem systematically. So as I said, there is nothing called as an eureka moment. Nobody actually waits for their flash moment so that they get the creative bulb lit in them. Doesn't happen that way. But you actually can be more creative because of the process. So it's a process that is happening inside you, and it doesn't happen as a eureka moment. So please do remember Edward de Bono. In fact, you can read his books online. He has written a lot of books on creativity. So with that, I come to the innovation concept here. Okay, I want to actually differentiate the invention and innovation. So this is a model. It's called Schumpeter's innovator model. So Schumpeter's types of innovation and examples of innovations is given in this flowchart. If you look at it, innovation can be in a new process also. Any new method of production, right? That could be actually an innovation. A typical example is your Ford cars manufacturing and assembly lines, wherein Henry Ford at that point of time created an assembly line wherein actually the parts of the car could actually move to the workers so that the workers can easily assemble and bring the car out. Earlier, the method was different. The workers actually used to go to the different sections, assemble the sections, and then manufacture cars. So imagine a very tedious process happening, but a new method of production in which the assembly lines were there, wherein the parts used to actually travel and workers used to be stationary, and in every station you will do one modification, addition, and at the end of the assembly line you will find the new car coming out, right? So that's an innovation. Similarly, it can be a new market also. So opening a new market can be an innovation. So Another example is analog to the digital market. So you know the digital revolution which happened in over the world. So now you find everything digital. So the analog concept is slowly going away, and it's already gone most of the areas, isn't it? That's an innovation in the market. In fact, you can call this as a disruption in the market also. A new supply chain. In fact, a new source of supply is something which is an innovation. It's international air travel. You know, from the domestic travel, now if we are talking about innovation, that's something which it's a new kind of travel, which is an innovation in international travel also. You can even give an example of a new supply chain using the hub and spoke model used by FedEx, a company called Federal Express. You know about this. It's an international supply chain company wherein they transport goods from different parts using this hub and spoke concept, wherein they actually gather all these materials to one point, and from that one single point, like a hub and spoke, the spoke actually radiates in different areas, so they transfer it to different areas or the locations to which they have to go. So that's a hub and spoke model by FedEx, which is a new supply chain concept. A new business industry, a new type of organization. So that's again an innovation. Internet, which actually took the world by revolution, is a new business, a new industry. In fact, now you know most of the industries are actually supported by the internet, the concept of internet, right? So it's a great innovation which has happened. A new product is a new innovation. So it can be an improvement in the existing product or a new product also. So mobile phone is a classic example of an innovation. So from a normal landline which we used to have, suddenly concept of the mobile phone came in, wherein we could move around with a phone, and we never thought that the mobile phone could be so useful. And it has replaced most of the things in the conventional or the traditional life, including a camera, right? We don't even use a camera nowadays, but we use something called this mobile phone, which is supposed to be an instrument meant for communication, but it's been used for so many other things nowadays. So this is again an innovation. So which you can think about. So all these are innovations. So innovation need not be something totally new. Innovation can be something which actually is a modification of something which is existing. I can give a very simple example here. You know, if you take Facebook as a business model, Facebook is an innovation, but it is not something which is new, right? Internet existed, photography existed, messaging existed. What Zuckerberg did was to combine all this and created a social media platform, and that he became very successful, called as Facebook, right? So he used whatever was existing around him and created a new business model. So that is what is expected out of you. You need not invent new things. You need not think of creating something new in your laboratory, but think of something which can solve an existing problem by already existing things around you. So if you are going to do it, that itself is a great innovation. So there are two types of innovation which people talk about when you are talking about innovation. So one is called as a closed innovation, and another is called an open innovation. Closed innovation, in simple words, I will explain. I will not go detail into it. When I talk about closed innovation, innovation is about internal, right? Whatever you do in your R&D facility is what your innovation is all about. So open innovation actually is a concept wherein people accept whatever is from the outside world also. So for example, if some other lab is actually developing something new, I don't mind buying that idea. So I will actually buy that idea, and then I can use it for my product or a service. So I will be open to that. So that is an open innovation. Closed innovation is that your own development, your own R&D, you think that your own team is the best team and they will create something unique for you. But open innovation is about using the external ideas also. So I am open to the idea of buying something which is actually developed by another research lab. So I don't mind buying the patent. I don't mind buying that particular idea from them and then use it for my product or a service so that I can make a profit out of it. So this is about open and closed innovation. So do ideas equal opportunities? Do problem equal opportunities? The reality is an idea is only an opportunity when actually it adds value to the customer, it solves a problem, it can make some money, okay? And it's a good fit with the entrepreneurial team. So this is by Timan and Spinelli. So yeah, problems are there around us. So you can actually solve a problem, but it is an opportunity, or it is of value to you only when it solves a problem, it adds value to the customer, and it can make some money. That's why I said commercialization of your idea is quite important. No? You get to actually bring in some value to the stakeholders also. Stakeholders of the business includes the owners, the customers, and people around the business, right? So it should actually make some money. Otherwise, there is no point in being innovative, and it's a good fit with the entrepreneurial team. So if you have a team of people who are working, and if you have a good team, see to that this product or solution which you are trying to find out is a good fit with the entrepreneurial team, and you have people who actually can complement each other with this kind of a fit so that they can work towards the success of the organization. So more the ideas is always better. Think fluently, always think fluently. So I am again given examples here. Albert Einstein wrote more than 240 scientific papers. So we know Albert Einstein, right? It's a very quite familiar scientist. Whenever we talk about anything about invention, we talk about Einstein because we are quite familiar with the theory of relativity there. But do you know that Einstein has more than 240 scientific papers in other areas also? Okay, he has written more than 240 scientific papers, but we know about only three relativity. Similarly, Edison, Thomas Alva Edison, when we think about Edison, we think about only bulb. He had more than 1,000 patents for so many other things. Richard Branson, now he is a man who actually started more than 250 companies. But when we talk about Richard Branson, we normally think about a couple of companies like Virgin Airways, Virgin Mobiles, etc. Other companies we do not even remember. So what the people say is, it is always better to generate more and more ideas. So don't stop ideas, keep thinking fluently, because out of these 1,000 ideas, 2 or 3 ideas may click, and that could be one of the best ideas which you can come out with. So it happened to Einstein, it happened to Edison, it happened to many great creative people. Rabindranath Tagore, for example. When I say Rabindranath Tagore, immediately we think of a book called Gitanjali, because we have studied about Gitanjali when we were in school. But we do not know about so many other books or poems which Rabindranath Tagore had actually written. So, but Gitanjali is something which actually is considered to be the best. So, more the ideas, it is always better, because one idea is going to be definitely the clinching idea, which will actually be the real problem solver. So, don't stop your ideas. Don't judge your ideas. More the merrier. Now, judging the ideas will actually put you in a difficult situation, because when you start judging your ideas, then you will actually become very closed. You will think that, okay, such a bad idea, so why would I probably think of a new idea? Don't judge any ideas for that matter. Any ideas, however weird it is, don't worry about it. In fact, it's more weird, it's better, because you will get some very interesting solution when you think like that. Keep a notebook and record these ideas, because it is not that we will remember these ideas after some point of time. For example, when you are in this particular lecture, suddenly if you are coming out with some ideas which probably you are thinking or working in a lab, immediately take a notebook and write it down, because definitely you are going to forget it after some point of time. In fact, some of the great creative people do this exercise. They actually keep recording their ideas as and when they come. And you can also use a technique called as a scamper technique, which actually people use so that they can be more creative. So scamper is an acronym actually for a simple exercise. I will show that scamper if we have time, otherwise we will move forward. Lateral thinking is something which is used to solve many problems. In fact, it's a manner of solving problems using an indirective and creative approach via reasoning that is not immediately obvious. So people many a time say that lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is a very indirect thinking process. In fact, most of the creative people, if you look at, are lateral thinkers. It involves ideas that may not be obtainable using only a traditional step-by-step logic. So here the lateral thinking deliberately distances itself from the standard perception of creativity, or what we call as a vertical logic, right? Vertical logic is something which is a step-by-step process. But in the lateral thinking, it's something which is not a traditional step-by-step logic, but it is something which is totally different from the conventional way of thinking. So it's a classic method of problem solving, in fact. And again, lateral thinking is something which can be developed by using many techniques. In fact, I gave an example of how you can solve a puzzle. You tend to solve more and more puzzles like that. At one point of time, your thinking process will become quite different, and you will stop thinking in a traditional step-by-step logic, but you will be more creative. You will start thinking laterally. So if we have time, I would actually like to share a puzzle with you. It's quite interesting. I want people present here to probably try this out. Arvind, can you enable a chat box here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, it is already enabled, sir.
But I'm not getting, I don't have a chat box here. I have only the participant screen. I don't have a chat box provision here. Now, probably I think since you have created the team, if you can do one thing quickly, Mr. Arvind,
Yes,
I have
sir.
sent a mail to the hod.biotech ID with a link there, with a forms link there. Can you just copy and paste it in the chat box?
Yeah, sir. Sure, sir. Sure. Sir, done, sir. Sir, it's done, sir.
Pardon?
Sir, I have posted that form link, sir. The chat.
Okay. So you would have seen a forms link, MS Forms link in your chat box. Dr. Arvind has posted it. So I request the participant to click that link and see whether you can solve this problem in that particular link. It's the idea of lateral thinking, and it's quite interesting. So just try it out and give the first answer that comes to the mind. I don't want you people to actually do a serious thinking process or trying to find out the answer. Whatever answer comes to you first, just try to fill in and submit it. I'll tell you the answers anyway, but I just want you people to actually try that out. Now the first one is complete the equation without using a ball twice. So that was the first one. So can anyone tell me the answer? Please raise your hand and we will have that answer. Anybody? Could you open the link? Please do respond.
Yes, students, if you have opened the link, please answer the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, we make it anyway. Yeah.
Sir, chat box is not visible, sir.
Okay, so there is an issue with the chat box for them also.
Okay. So I think because they are the attendees, sir, I hope maybe that will see the problem.
Okay. So let me do one thing. Like now we will find an alternate way to do it. I'm going to share another file. No, just wait for.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Can you see this file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. Complete the equation without using the ball twice. Okay. So I want an answer which is equivalent to 30. So the balls are given below. So you have to use 3 balls, but you should not use the ball twice. And I want an answer of 30. Anyone? Quick answer, okay? How come I am not seeing any hands? Come on. Students, I am sure you have solved such puzzles before. Teachers can try. If any teacher has an answer, wonderful. So what? I just want that balls to be used to get the answer 30. That's all. Quite simple. Mohan. Okay, so the entire 1 hour talk is about asking questions, interactions, brainstorming, but I'm not getting any response from any one of you. Somebody can say even, no, I can't find an answer. That would be fine. So I don't feel that I'm doing a monologue here. Okay, so யாருக்கு ஆன்சர் தெரியலன்னு ஒத்துக்கிறீங்க. Now it's very simple. Okay, you will find 13, you will find 11, 13 plus 11. What I am going to put, the third one is 6. Okay, 13 plus 11 plus 6 is 30. Correct? Now you will be wondering, where is that 6? I am going to turn that ball 9 into upside down and make it 6. Simple. You wouldn't have got an answer if you had actually tried to use this ball as 9, because you will never get that combination. But if you had actually thought about just turning the ball, because there is absolutely no condition out there, only condition was that you should not use the ball twice. Otherwise, you could have actually turned the ball, which would have given you 6, and 13 plus 11 when 6 would have given you 30, right? Now tell me the second one. Pick the odd picture here. I have given 4 pictures here. You can see here. Can you pick the odd one? This is very simple. Okay, I don't want you people to do anything. Just look at it, give me a quick answer, and then I will leave you. So I'm crossed 1 hour, so I don't want to exceed further. Give me a quick answer and I'll leave you. So that is the only way to end the lecture. Anyone?
You said number 4.
Yeah, wonderful. Who's that? Michael. Michael, why number 4?
Say because all the number 1, 2, and 3, like the either one finger is left or, but number 4, all the fingers are down the same way.
Okay, all the fingers are down in number 4. Anyone else? I want another answer here. Anybody who can think totally different? Michael
Okay, sir.
attempted an answer. Yeah, Michael. Again.
Yes, I found another answer.
Ah.
I said number 1, 2, 3, they are right hand, and number 4 is left hand.
Wonderful. So see, that's the way of thinking, right? So if you look at that picture very carefully, 1, 2, and 3, if you look at their postures of right hand, okay, but number 4 is actually a left hand. Okay, so pick the odd picture. You will pick the 4th one, which is a different hand compared to the other 3. Now this is again a concept of lateral thinking. I will ask another quick one. This is very simple. So answer me. There are 5 sisters in the room. Anne is reading a book. Margaret is cooking. Kate is playing chess. Mary is doing laundry. So what is the 5th sister doing? Quick answer. Don't think too much.
Playing chess.
Wonderful. So who's that?
Sir, Anu from Biotechnology.
Okay, wonderful. So Anu gave the right answer there. I'm sure definitely we would have come across this particular puzzle many a time. So the 5th sister is doing is nothing but playing chess, because chess needs another partner. So when Kate is playing chess, obviously the other sister is giving her company by playing the chess. So this is about how you think. Okay, it's a perfect example of lateral thinking, wherein you just think out of the way, out of the box. You don't actually think step by step. The logic of step by step traditional thinking is not there, but you think differently in a non-traditional manner. So that's called as lateral thinking. In fact, lateral thinking is key to creativity. So I am not going to take much time here, but I'll just tell very quickly what is Scamper. Scamper is an idea which you can try out so that you can actually be more creative. So what you have to do is you have to actually take something which is existing and try this out. Okay, substitute something for something else. So if you try to do that, probably you will get something new. Combine, adapt, magnify or modify, put it in some other use, eliminate, rearrange or reverse something. So take anything which is around you and try to do any one of this or a couple of this. You will get something totally which is different from the existing use. So this is called as a scamper technique. And scamper is a wonderful technique which can be used as a perfect brainstorming exercise if you are coming out with new ideas. So if you do this exercise, probably you will come out with something quite new from the existing one. As I said, you are not expected to be inventive, but you are expected to be innovative. So innovation can happen by actually modifying something and coming out with something else. As I told you, most of the things what you see around you, most of the so-called innovations are combination of different things which already existed, isn't it? So any new business idea if you take, any new startups you take, it is nothing but a combination of different things which already existed. So Scamper is a technique which will help you to do that. So that is why I thought I will introduce Scamper to you. In fact, I had a video, but since I don't have time, I'm not going into that. So that's it. And another thing which you can try out in your college is called as a mind mapping technique. This mind mapping is a visual representation of how you can actually map your ideas. So this is a diagram in which an information is represented visually with a central idea placed in the middle and associated ideas arranged around it. And this is a very simple exercise which you can try and do out for any problem. Take any problem. Here the problem is getting ready for exams. and you will see that is the center point, and surrounding it are branches, and then you will find sub branches from it, branching out of the main branches. Now what you do is to actually give different colors, different visuals to it to make it more interesting. Now why we are doing it is, now when we do this exercise, you get very creative ideas in mind, and this visual representation will actually help you to put this idea in the back of your subconscious mind. And then at some point of time, you will get some eureka ideas, which could be totally different. So for example, here, the getting ready for the exams, they have given many branches: be strategic, okay, break down the exam content, studying the exam content, looking after your mind and body. So these are some of these variables which actually will influence your exams. And from sub branches, how exactly you do it, no, that will actually branch out. So if, for example, if you want to actually look after your mind and body, then you need to get a good sleep, you have to eat healthy food, you have to take a lot of proteins, etc. So similarly, keep branching out ideas in a visual manner, so that you will actually come out with something which is very unique. This is called as mind mapping. And in fact, you can put up this chart in your innovation centers. You can actually think of different problems and try to do a brainstorming and come out. You can do this as a group exercise, and it will be very interesting for you also. So remember, idea starts with solving problems. Any problems or opportunities when added value to it. No problems, no solutions, and no reasons for firms to exist. So no one pays you to solve a non-existing problem. So it's always an existing problem that has to be solved. So Vinod Khosla, that is the Sun Microsystems, he has told this: no one pays you to solve a non-existing problem. You have to find out a solution for an existing problem. And as I said initially, problems are around us. We have umpteen number of problems in India. And if you are going to come out with an innovative solution to solve that problem, and if the customer is ready to pay for it, then you are sitting out on a great idea, and your idea is going to be a very successful startup. And as I said, being a student, it is a great opportunity for you to be creative, and it is a great opportunity for you to be having your own startup, because your college is supporting it. You have incubation center to support it. In fact, you have a team of mentors who will help you to actually validate your idea and then come out with a prototype, etc. So as a student, you have every opportunity to solve a problem and come up with an idea which can eventually become a great startup. So ultimately, you should be a job giver instead of a job seeker. So that is the entire point of discussion here. So it adds value to the customer. So you should solve a significant problem, and it has a robust margin that will create value to the stakeholders. And as I said earlier, it should be a good fit with the entrepreneurial team what you have, correct? So if you do that, then you will be quite successful in your life. As I said, these are some of the books you can try out: Crackling Creativity by Michael Michalko, Zigzag by Keith Sawyer, Lateral Thinking by Edward De Bono, and Thinker Toys by, again, Michael Michalko. These books are available online. Many of these you will get PDF which can be downloaded. I prefer you to actually read it when you get time. Just close down your normal textbooks and start reading this at least half an hour or 1 hour every day. You will find your conventional subject becomes more interesting when you start thinking on those lines, because it gives a different perspective to whatever you do, and then ultimately it makes your own subjects more interesting. In fact, that's why I said, after actually going through this particular course, I myself now tend to be more creative in my teaching. So I give different case studies. I tend to ask different questions. So that actually makes me more innovative. So as a student, in fact, your minds are fresh, you are young. You can actually develop creativity in you much more easily than others. And these kind of exercises will help you to become more creative and more innovative. So thank you very much for this opportunity. If you have any point of discussions, you are welcome to do so, and we can discuss that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful session, sir. Thank you. I hope in future also we will also, in our teaching, we will include all those things to become to make our students also to be more creative and innovative. So now the session is open for the discussion. So dear students, if you having any questions or queries related to how to become creative, you can ask now. So all your mics were enabled, so you can switch on your mic and you can ask your questions. Dear students, if you having any questions, you can ask your questions now. The session is open for discussion.
Okay, Dr. Arvind, we will assume that no, it was quite
Yes,
clear.
sir. Okay, so okay, sure, sir. Sure. So I think there is no questions. Okay. Now I like to welcome Dr. Satyapriya, Assistant Professor of the Department of Biotechnology, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. It's such an honor for me to get the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. On behalf of Rathinam College of Arts and Science, I would like to express my gratitude to the respected delegate for their presence and contribution to make over the session, today's session, a great success. I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Resource Person, Dr. V. Sriram, Associate Professor, Department of Humanity and Management from the Manipal Institute of Technology, to taken out time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words and the puzzles on this special day. Thank you, sir. A special thank to our beloved principal, Dr. R. Muralidharan, for providing immense support to make the today's session successful. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank our Secretary and CEO, Dr. R. Manikam, for his encouragement and support. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank our Dean School of Science, Dr. S. N. Suresh, and Dean of Research, Dr. K. P. V. Sabarish, for their support. Thank you, sir. I heartily thank our convener of the program, Dr. C. Kanakaraj, IIC convener, Head Department of Biotechnology, for guiding us. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank the organizing secretary, Dr. S. Aravind, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, and all the faculty members and the Innovation Ambassador for this wonderful event. Thank you, sir, and the team. Last but not least, I thank all the participants for their active participation. Thank you, everyone, once again for making it a grand success.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.